What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for May 28th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the podcast, a Tuesday that feels like a Monday, but it is Tuesday, so it's time for a little motivation / positivity, and especially on the Tuesday after a holiday weekend, the unofficial start of summer. This one just really hits home today because I got a lot to get done this week at work, and it is daunting, and even this week in personal life too. But the quote for today is, "There's only one way to eat an elephant, and that is one bite at a time." That quote comes to us from Desmond Tutu, and again, very appropriate with everything. And I've been trying to get out of it just because I kind of took it to the extreme the other way, but I'm a very list type person, so if I could check things off. So the first thing I'm going to do today is just make a list of everything, both at work, personally, podcast wise, things with the kids, all of that stuff. Just make a whole list, and then we're just going to go one bite at a time and get that elephant eaten. But I really like that quote because it really helps to put things in perspective, and whether it's your work, whether it's stuff you're doing around your house, home improvements, whether it's losing weight or training for a race or something like that, can only do it one bite at a time. And just know that to get where you're going, you just got to take those short and just hit each individual goal and go through. Or in my case this week, just keep checking off the boxes as we go through. But there's only one way to eat an elephant, and that is one bite at a time. Quote coming at us from Desmond Tutu. And again, I really, really like that quote, especially for this week. So I love the short weeks, don't get me wrong, but the short weeks always tend to, because you're squeezing 5 days worth of stuff into 4. But anyway, only one way to eat an elephant, and that is one bite at a time. So that is this week's Tuesday motivation / positivity. And there's the light. Like, the light has not been working consistently. So if you're not watching, you have no idea what's going on. But that is this week's Tuesday motivation. Let's do a quick recap of yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, what is your go-to side dish for barbecues? Everybody was all over the place. Macaroni salad and potato salad tied with 30% of the vote in first place. And then pasta salad, I had somebody say baked beans quite a few times, which if you make baked beans the correct way, they're very, very good. Corn on the cob, people had. It's still a little early here, though, in Pennsylvania for corn on the cob. It's not quite as good until you get like mid to late June, I think. So still early for that. But as always, thanks for participating in the question of the day. Had some macaroni salad myself. Wasn't as good as I thought. I told you yesterday, it has to be the Amish creamy stuff with some egg in it, and it just wasn't that good. So it's always disappointing to get a side dish that you think is going to be good, and then it turns out to not be so good. But things like this happen. As always, though, thank you for participating. There will be another question of the day later in the show. 267-495-8531. Get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Be sure to check me out on social media, Jimbo_Mott, Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram. Any information you need regarding the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame induction, including tickets, is in the description below. Be sure to check that out. And don't forget, the nickname tournament is coming June 24th. Spread the word. We got a couple new subscribers yesterday to the YouTube channel. Be sure to like and leave comments. If you want to leave a review, if you're on Apple Podcasts, all of that stuff helps us out. But really, we're trying to spread the word to make this nickname tournament great. 4 regions, 64 nicknames. You decide which one is the best. All beginning and kicking off, I guess, with the Selection Friday show on June 21st. And then we'll start it that Monday and just go through and see who is the best nickname. But stay tuned for that, and please just spread the word, and let's make this one bigger than the Lovable Loser tournament that we did last year. All right, the Phillies. And I hate the West Coast. And I'm chalking it up. They never play well in Colorado. They never play well in San Francisco. It's just two of those things. And the fact that those two were on the same road trip makes it even worse. They were just sloppy, I think. And that is disheartening, I think, more so than anything. Like making errors, bad pitches. But, I mean, it happens. It is a long season. First time they've lost back-to-back games in a while. They've lost 3 of 4. They can still salvage if they win the next 2 games and go 3-3, which before the road trip, I said that. I was like, if we can go 3-3, I will take that. Zack Wheeler's on the mound today. This is a must-win game. Not a must-win, but this is an important game as any for them to win today. Because the East is still there. Like, the East is right there to be won. I think especially now with the injuries that the Braves are dealing with, it's there for the Phillies to take it. But I think they need to keep that focus, and I kind of see that. And you have this, I guess, on a West Coast trip. It seemed like yesterday they were losing focus. I'm not going to necessarily question Taijuan Walker yet. He's not been great, but he's also hasn't been too bad after he settles down. He just was not good yesterday. Not ready to jump on his back yet. However, he's not been sharp enough that it could be coming soon. But, I mean, like I said, they go out and win tonight, which no chance I'll be up for tonight because West Coast baseball sucks. However, all is forgiven and all is well. There was a Trey Turner update. They pulled him back a little bit. He was doing some running. He was supposed to start sprinting, but he was sore and tight, so they're kind of pulling it back. Still no timeline on his return, but he's within, like, he's still, like, he was trying to push it and come back early, but I don't think there's a reason to do that, especially, again, Edmundo Sosa has been playing so well. You're in a good position where you don't need to rush him back because those things kind of never really heal all the way. And you saw that with the guy, I forget the player for the Giants yesterday when he slid into second base and hurt it again. It's kind of one of those cautionary tales where that could have been Trey Turner. So let him not take your time, Trey. Take your time. Edmundo is doing a good job holding down the fort. No need to rush and make sure you're fully healed. But they're in action tonight, 9:30, out in San Francisco, way past my bedtime. But West Coast baseball, man, awesome. You know who is awesome? Philly Goat. Go to phillygoat.com. They have those pixelated swim trunks and the bikini for women. You can still get your stuff for the London series. Just, you won't be disappointed. Go through. And I keep saying this, but if you keep scrolling through the collections, some of their older shirts are just as good as the newer ones. So go check it out. phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. Just, I mean, check out the shoes too. Like the shoes, like I've been wearing the Schmitties this weekend. Everybody had great things. They were getting so many compliments. And they're comfortable. I'm telling you, they're more comfortable than Hey Dudes. So go check out Philly Goat, specifically those canvas loafers, and you won't be disappointed. All right. Sixers news. Not really Sixers specific, but Bill Walton passed away. Center, Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it. There is a Sixers connection. He did play for Boston for a little bit, but he was the MVP of the 1976-77 NBA Finals when Dr. J and McGinnis and all those guys made that run, got up 2-0, and then Bill Walton led Portland back to win 4 straight. Was always a funny guy. Definitely, he was did some of the color commentating on the NBA on NBC. Did some other acting roles. I remember him from Little Nicky when he was like, "The ball blew up. Yes, my hair is aflame." But rest in peace to Bill Walton. Condolences to his family. But he probably best remembered in Philadelphia for being the MVP of the finals in 1977. The finals where the Sixers blew the 2-0 lead. And then speaking of the NBA Finals, the Celtics are back, looking like they're probably going to be playing Dallas. It is an intriguing matchup, but that leads us to today's question of the day. Will you watch the NBA Finals? 267-495-8531 get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. I might if I put a little money on it. Depends. I mean, again, it starts late too. I don't know. Ain't nobody got time for that. But I might watch it. I might not. But let me know. Are we watching the NBA Finals? Or put it this way too. Are you excited for the NBA Finals? For me, once the Sixers are done, it's kind of just like, if I have some money on it, it's different. But it's just, especially if it's the Celtics, like anybody but the Celtics. Like I would almost say I'd rather the Lakers be back in it than the Celtics. But here we are. But are you watching the NBA Finals? 267-495-8531. That is the number to the Back to the Future voice and text line. Send a text, send a voicemail. Let me know what you're thinking about the NBA Finals, anything Philly related. You still want to get your side dish in? Let me know that too. We're going to be doing some leftover hot dogs tonight for dinner. But let me know. 267-495-8531. Get you in. And don't forget to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Not sure how they're going to be with the Celtics. It's ridiculous. There's one team the Celtics are right there for me too. Like I forgot how bad I hated them until I woke up to see that they were back in the NBA Finals. So call me on the Back to the Future line and let me know your hate for the Celtics too. Rant, whatever you got to do. 267-495-8531. All right, the Mishkov turns, we don't have an update. It was more quiet this weekend in Philly sports than usually what we're used to, and I guess that's a good thing. It means there's nothing crazy going on, but we'll continue to keep you updated to see if Mishkov is going to opt out of his contract and whether or not he'll be playing hockey in Philadelphia this coming fall. All right, today we're going to go back to 1930. And on this day in 1930, the Phillies lost to the Boston Braves 5-1. Pitching for the Phillies in the 7th and 8th inning was Grover Cleveland Alexander. Old Pete gave up 2 runs and 2 hits and then was promptly released after the game, ending his Hall of Fame career. Alexander started off with the Phillies in 1911, played with them through 1917, and then came back again at the end of his career in 1930. As a rookie, he won 28 games, which is still the modern day record for rookies winning in a season. Had 31 complete games, 7 shutouts. Throughout his career, was just Mr. Reliable. Was a huge part of that 1915 pennant-winning team for the Phillies. And if you're, there's not many pennant teams in Philly, so the fact that he was a big part of one of them is a good thing. While with the Phillies, he was the pitching Triple Crown winner 2 times, led the league in wins 5 times, ERA 2 times, strikeouts 5 times. Basically did a little bit of everything, whether it was strikeouts, holding him down, just one of the best to ever do it. His jersey is retired. It's the old school script P out that you see out there, because I forget whether Alexander, I think Alexander is the one that they didn't have numbers, and Chuck Klein was the one that wore multiple numbers, so that's why they did that. But his P is out there. He's in the Wall of Fame. He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame, where he ranks number 3 all time in Major League Baseball in Phillies. The Phillies rankings. He's number 3 in wins, ERA, number 7 in strikeouts, but one of the best all time. He's number 3 on the list in wins in Major League Baseball history, tied with Christy Mathewson of the Giants. But on this day, back in 1930, Grover Cleveland Alexander ended his career the same place it started, in Philadelphia, pitching the final game of his career in relief in the 7th and 8th inning, giving up 2 runs and 2 hits. He was released, and I saw stories going both ways. I think it was kind of a mutual thing where they released him, but he kind of retired too. But Grover Cleveland Alexander, one of the best to ever do it in Philadelphia. Old Pete retired on this day back in 1930, ending his Hall of Fame career in the city where he started with the Phillies. But one of the best, and like I said, you can see his retired jersey, the P, out in Ashburn Alley. All right, sticking with a baseball theme today, and finally, it's a family affair, and today's spotlight is on David Bell, infielder. David Bell signed with the Phillies in 2002, 4-year, $17 million contract. In his 4 seasons with the Phillies, he hit .258, 38 home runs, 209 RBI, and 95 doubles. Probably most memorable moment as a Philly. I'll get that out. Most memorable moment as a Philly came in 2004 when he hit for the cycle. When he did that, he joined his grandfather Gus as the first grandfather-grandson duo in Major League Baseball history to hit for the cycle. Gus was a 4-time All-Star with the Reds, and then he's in their Hall of Fame. His dad was Buddy Bell, who was a 5-time All-Star himself, 6-time Gold Glover. He won the Silver Slugger. He's in the Texas Rangers Hall of Fame. And then he was a manager, Buddy Bell was, and he and David became the 5th father-son duo to ever manage in the big leagues. And then he had a brother, Mike, who played for the Reds in the year 2000. But David Bell is part of one of 5 3-generational families in Major League Baseball history. Tough to say which one was the best. The Phillies just were not that good of a team. Like, I shouldn't say they weren't that good of a team. They weren't quite ready for prime time quite yet when David Bell was here, but he really helped with opening up Citizens Bank Park and everything like that. But David Bell is today's family affair spotlight. His grandfather Gus, his dad Buddy, and then his brother Mike all played in the big leagues. He was solid. Like, it's hard to say, like, when it comes to the brother, we had the right brother, but the grandfather and dad had better careers. However, I mean, David Bell he wasn't a superstar, but he was solid for the Phillies. They just didn't have enough players at that time to get them over the hump. But David Bell is today's It's a Family Affair spotlight. On this day in 1930, the Phillies lost to the Braves 5-1. Grover Cleveland Alexander pitched the 7th and 8th innings for the Phillies, giving up 2 runs and 2 hits, and then was promptly released and then retired after the game, ending his Hall of Fame career back in Philadelphia with the team that started it all for him. We'll have more on the Mishkov update tomorrow. Don't forget to let me know if you're watching the NBA Finals. 267-495-8531. Get you in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. I may watch it just to see the Celtics lose. Who knows? Be a great story if it is the Mavs, though, I guess, to see Kyrie go back and beat Boston. But who knows? But let me know what your thoughts are on that and anything else on the Back to the Future voice and text line. It's going to be a long week. However, as Desmond Tutu said, remember the best way to eat an elephant, or there's only one way to eat an elephant, and that's one bite at a time. Take it slow, small chunks. You will get the job done. If you have anything more on the barbecue side dishes or main courses, let me know that too. It was fun with that this weekend and kind of interesting to see where everybody is with that. But this has been This Day in Philly Sports History for May 28th, 2024. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Tuesday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.